Hello plant fans, this is Sonya Whaley here at Plant Your Pitch Up, and I'm here to tell you why this 20-year-old garden at Hyde Hall in Essex is still ahead of its time. The dry garden sits within Hyde Hall. It's on a hill. It was built in 2001, which is 10 years after Beth Chatto built her own gravel garden in 1991. Now that is in Colchester, or nearby to Colchester, which is about 35 miles away from here. The two sites do have very similar climate, actually just suffering really from very low rainfall. I personally like this garden, the dry garden in Hyde Hall, more than the gravel garden at Beth Chatto's, even though I feel like it might be a bit sacrilegious to say that, and there's probably a lot of people who might disagree with me. But the reason why I really like this garden is the plants work together to make me feel like I'm in Greece when I'm in this garden. I don't feel like I'm in England. I feel like I'm in, basically a hot Mediterranean climate. I mean, it's actually freezing today. You can probably see my nose has already gone red at the end, but it still makes you feel like you're somewhere else. I'd like to point out a few of the more interesting plants here, or what I think are more interesting. This one I love, Lutetia peregrinans gold leaf. The only other place I've seen this is actually in Mona's garden in Highgate. It has the most beautiful sort of bronzy orange colour to it, and it's not a grass, but it presents like a grass, and I've not seen this to buy as a plant, as a ready formed plant. The only way I've seen of buying this are seeds, actually, and I probably will try it because I'm not a massive fan of seeds, but I think this particular one is probably worth it. Another plant I particularly like is the Euphorbia mercinites. Now, we're used to seeing a lot of the other euphorbias, but we really don't see this one very often. It really needs very free draining conditions, so it's perfect for a gravel garden. It's so low growing, have a look. It's basically carpet cover, but it's got that fantastic structure that you expect from a euphorbia. It's worth also making a note on the landscaping materials chosen. The boulders that you see around there, gabbro rock, it's sourced from nearby to Glasgow, and they're actually outlier boulders, which means that they came down in the glacial flow of the last ice age, and they actually got deposited randomly in farmers' fields, and the farmers are quite pleased to be rid of the boulders because they're just quite random in there. So I've been here in February, I've been here in December, it's December today, and I've been here in July, and every visit has provided an extraordinary variation and just interest, really, sustained interest throughout the seasons. This garden doesn't have a low season. This is essentially kind of the transition between autumn and winter. It's actually, we're due the first frost in the UK, in London anyway, tonight. But you can see there's still pipits of colour. If you look at the gaura behind me, that is shining gorgeous colours in the sun, very red. We've got some nerine bordini over there, the spider lily, some pinks. There's still a few odd blossoms, but essentially at the moment now we're relying on the grasses for interest, and we're also relying on the structure. There are a great deal of yuccas and phormiums around, give a brilliant spiky. There's quite a lot of palms. And essentially there's a lot to sustain interest even when there's not very much colour. The purpose of the dry garden is to demonstrate that it's possible to have a garden that does not need any watering. So this garden originally went up in 2001. It was watered in then, and it has not been watered since 2001, which is now more than 20 years. That means it survived that really hot summer of 2006, the really hot summer of 2019, and again we just had that maximum hot summer of 2022 when the temperatures went up to 40. Perhaps not quite up to 40 here, but there was an extremely long spell of no rain in the UK. And yeah, the garden's doing fantastically. So as far as I'm concerned, the garden has really proved its point. That's why I find it such a forward-thinking garden, and why I think a lot of people are going to be looking to this garden, as well as Beth Chatto's gravel garden, for plants that they're going to be able to use, you know, as we experience more dry spells over the coming years.